One of my favorite films of all time has got to be Princess Mononoke. I felt the story was just so close to my soul's experience and the actual characters that I just am still amazed, and it continues to unfold in my life, which is kind of wild. But I think that this film taught me a lot so far that has already changed the the timeline or the trajectory of what my soul would have created in this lifetime. So let me explain. And this is why I love cartoon and anime, because they're not just for kids. There's always like a good lesson in some of these stories that you can really relate to and sort of apply it to your own life. So the main character in this story is just like me. She's wild, right? And she lives in the forest, and she's just like been abandoned by humans, and so she feels close to these like mythical beasts that are these massive dogs. And it's just like kind of my weird experience that I went through, being just totally creeped out by humanity and not wanting to be a part of it, having my own reality, being nurtured by these beautiful animals and not needing much else from the human species. So that in itself, in this character, I saw how it seeded in her a hate and a rage towards the destruction that humanity was causing. And this myself, I totally identify with, right? And you can feel it and you can sense it in my energy. It's just like a passionate rage. We have seen what the human species does, but the very interesting part of it is that both me and Princess Mononoke are human. So it's part of us. We have to really take responsibility for what it is that is seated actually in our own hearts. That's lesson number one that I got from this film. We have to know that what is brought up in these circumstances. And now it wasn't just her. It was like Lady Aboshi also was fighting her own war. And then you had like the Boers coming through and just them just being totally blind in their own rage and their own perception of what was going wrong in their reality. So you have all these angles of people just being lost in hate and rage. And my favorite part was in when this male shows up, and it's so weird for me, you guys, because I literally know like a real life Ashitaka. And so this male character shows up, and he's just like he like supports like all narratives in the way that he can like almost understand and see how everybody's feeling. He can see all sides, and yet he's still poisoned by it himself. He unfortunately gets cursed by the demon of hate, and he has to, ride on his own journey and find his own way to cleanse and clear that curse. And so I just love the dynamic between Princess Mononoke and Ashitaka. It's more of like, it's almost like they're assisting each other in their own healing. And it's not about them, one upping each other and getting like this romantic sort of dynamic going. It was more of like, yeah, we're both in too much pain, and we really got to help each other as much as we can. And they did, and I love that. And I also loved how through that, you can really see her heal. She was able to actually connect with a human being, and she saw that she really was fighting a war against herself. And all of this pain and hurt and frustration, everything that she had been identified with, she was learning that she could let it go. And so the movie itself, kind of like I said in the beginning, altered my trajectory in the way that the universe gave me an opportunity to be tested and have my own fight, my own uh, good against bad, light against darkness fight. And, I went into that with full on just anger at what was being done. And I realized through this film that if I had kept going with that, I would have taken my own self out. That's what eventually happens, you know, and I just love the imagery. I love the way these animals are portrayed. It's so raw. Like a lot of people think it's like too much, but I'm just like, yeah, this is spirit. He's the creator of this film is talking like through his own spirit, and he knows, he sees. And for us to be able to overcome, you know, the human tendency to self-sabotage through our own lack of awareness, you know, we actually are able to become conscious in a moment. It's like a split second when you make a different decision. You choose, okay, I could either hurt somebody or I could help somebody. I can hate somebody or I can love somebody. I can degrade or I can accept. You know, there's like a split second of a decision in your mind where you choose another road. So this movie is so powerful. It made me choose a different road. I chose peace, and I actually faced a lot of those demons. I decided to make different choices, and that's why I really am grateful for some of these films, and that's why I want to share them with you. So if you haven't seen this movie, it's just such a treat. Also, so many others, Spirited Away, you know, Nausicaa. It's just beautiful to see the divine feminine just portrayed and perceived in a neutral way. We're just humans, and we have really intense experiences, and it doesn't really, you know, revolve around being a sexual object. Like a lot of us have really deep spiritual journeys that we're experiencing, and I love again that these films just allow these women to be feminine warriors as we are. We get to be both. We get to be fighting for the truth and being, you know, allowed to be soft and compassionate and have these moments of emotions where we really get to process our true feelings. So anyway, I'm sending you all so much love, and until my next one, you take care. Okay? Peace.